one of my goals, and I know it's an Empower goal, is that you are excited about that presence that's being built for you, that website, that place for you to just share everything you want to share.
Hey, I'm Stephanie Feger, and Empower is my middle name. Well, okay, not really, but y'all, it really should be. I believe that empowered people empower people, and I am obsessed with empowering you, the nonfiction author, with impactful marketing strategies to help you take your important message and share it with those who desperately need it, want it, and will buy it. As the owner and chief strategist of the Empower PR Group and the author of 2 books myself, I have merged my love for reading books, writing books, and marketing books to help nonfiction authors with laser-focused strategies and tactics to write books that sell, promote books to those who need and want them most, and build meaningful businesses from empowering messages. I want you to think of this podcast as your one-stop shop for marketing insights from an author who has been there, done that, and understands exactly where you are. So grab a warm beverage. Y'all know this about me. I have a chai tea sitting here, and get a comfy blanket and get ready with your pens because I am ready to empower you on author websites. This is the Empowered Author Podcast. So we live in a digital age where businesses, including those built by authors, require a digital presence. Potential readers want to learn more about you, your books, your business, and one of the first places they go is online to find your website. But what should be on your website, and what's the purpose of it anyway? How can your website work for you instead of the other way around? There are so many questions for us to answer on this season of the Empowered Author Podcast, but I'm ready to do so because this season we unpack the what's, the whys, the hows, and more of author websites. Come on, y'all. Let's go dive in. Sandy, it is so much fun when we get to talk about author websites. Don't you agree? It's just like my favorite thing to talk about, I think.
Oh, it is definitely my favorite thing to talk about. I love author websites.
Well, and we just did a relaunch, a new iteration of the Empower PR Group website. That is exciting too. So yeah, I love it. It almost feels like, to me, author websites are like, I don't know, going shopping for new clothes. Like, I feel like it's a beautiful outward expression of who you are and what you're all about. And so I love shopping, and I love author websites. we should do something on the two of those together. That's a blog, Sandy.
It is. That is in one of my upcoming course documents, and the last piece is accessorizing.
See, and this is why you and I work together so well, because our brains are so similar. And who would have thought, when I just came up with that whole clothing, that you would have actually done something with it. But I mean, that's a great example of why we are great collaborators in helping authors bring author websites to life and really leverage them, because we're looking at it from different angles, but strategically through the same lens. And I think when you find people who can do that, then there's something really beautiful that comes from that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So today, I know we've been talking a lot about author websites over the last couple of episodes, but today we're going to talk about how do you actually use your author website. So if we're going through the same analogy, it's no good to go shopping and leave clothes in your closet with tags on them, right? Like, you want to wear them, you want to use them, you want them to give you confidence and all that fun stuff. And same thing in alignment with your author website. We want to make sure, if we're going to help you, or if you're going to invest in an author website, we want to make sure you're using it. And you're using it in a way that's going to help you get where you need to go. And so today we're going to dive in a little bit more deeper on that. Gosh, we have a lot of really awesome ideas. I know we've had a lot of awesome ideas so far in the podcast. And every time we get to another episode, I'm like, surely there's no more new ideas. But there are. There are a lot. I think that, in previous episodes, we've chatted at a high level a bit about how author websites have value. But today, I really want to get to the nitty gritty level. And I want us to also talk about what author websites should include and how the information that's shared really increases your digital credibility and your visibility. And when we were preparing for this episode, I remember thinking back to a couple months ago when the big Facebook, Instagram outage happened. I can almost think, I remember where I was. Do you remember where you were when it happened?
I do. I was working, but I didn't notice. Honestly, I didn't notice until later in the day when I was like, I hadn't gotten any messages all day.
That's funny. So I was at a video shoot for an author who was doing a book trailer. And I remember I was checking things before the video shoot happened, and then I didn't get any notifications. Since then, I actually don't have any social media notifications on my phone anymore. So even though y'all listening, find me on LinkedIn, send me a direct message. I love that, but I won't get a notification. That's just a new thing that I've got going on in my life. But back then I was, and I'm like, this is weird. People engage on my stuff regularly. Why is it not today? And I just kept thinking, well, this is kind of nice, right? This is kind of nice. Nobody's bugging me. There's nothing distracting me. And it wasn't until a couple hours later, I'm like, the rest of the world experienced that too. But it made me, as I sat back and thought that, that was 6 hours where there was no status updates. There was no post filters. There was nothing we could kind of do at that point. And we didn't know it, but what happens if during that 6 hours, Sandy, you had something really big in your business or in your life or as an author that you wanted to share? You couldn't.
Yes. And so the aftermath, because I did catch the aftermath, that businesses who sell on Facebook only, a large launch that was scheduled for that day. There are a lot of factors, and Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they are free platforms. They don't owe you anything.
No. Have you watched the movie The Social Dilemma on Netflix?
I have not. I know you keep telling me to watch it, and I have not seen it yet. I will do that, though. It's on my list now.
I need to go back and rewatch it. When I got off of that, after I watched that episode or that show, I had this really weird epiphany. What you just said is true. Social media are one of the only quote unquote businesses that talk about their clients as users. They don't talk, these are my clients. No. The Facebook user. And when they think about it in that way, you're right. They don't owe you anything. You are a user, and I think the user is the word that they use. But you are a means to their end, which is a means to help them make money through advertising. They're collecting you and whatever. So I would be curious, how it impacted their business too when that outage happened. But I walked away from that realizing a couple things. I realized maybe we don't need to capture everything we do at all times. The world survived. Maybe we don't have to tell people every minute of every day what we're doing. Maybe we should pause for 6 hours a day and live unconnected virtually, but maybe more connected in real life. I also walked away thinking that, just like you mentioned, maybe we should be thinking about our engagement with our potential readers or new clients or what have you in other ways outside of just social. Because if that is the only way you're doing it, it's just not enough. What happens if they couldn't have figured out how to get it to come back? Right?
Right.
So if you have a Facebook group and you think that is the way, or a Facebook page, and that's the way for you to sell books, I hate to break it to you, but I think that there's something else you should be doing, and I think an author website can help with it.
Yes, and because you also risk them taking it down, and they can do that. I have seen it happen. They can take your page down. They can close your group. You are really at the whim of them. If someone complains, whether it's a viable complaint or not, you risk losing all of those people.
I know. And you don't also have any way to communicate with them outside of social media. It's not like social media when someone becomes a friend of yours or a follower that you get their email or you get their address or you get their phone number. You don't. You just get their connection on that platform. So there's a crazy algorithms can play against you. These people might love you and want to be a part of you, but those algorithms might stop them from being able to see your content that day. Or, things are changing every 5 minutes. And so I've had Facebook pages in the past that were fantastic. And now, sometimes it's hard to even know if a Facebook page is being seen. So, there's so much, so many changes on social media, and you don't own it. You need to have control about what people can see and how they can engage your message. And I think that's where, it's really, really important to know that, yes, social media is an important part of your brand because it allows for a different form of engagement, but it cannot be the hub, your website, your email marketing efforts, all of that should really be the thing that you focus your energy on in the first place.
Yeah, it's true. You risk, people are busy, and I may love your page, but I am super busy in my own thing. And as much as I want to go see what Stephanie's doing today, sometimes the day gets away from me and I have no idea. But if Stephanie sends me an email and tells me to go look at a blog post or something, then I'm most likely going to do that.
Stephanie's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Yeah, maybe I should spend some time thinking. Exactly.
It's the old rule of staying in front of people, just staying in front of as many people as you can.
Yes. And I think that there is a happy medium on how to do that where it is value focused and it doesn't get annoying. And I think a lot of people think when they dive into email marketing, which is connected to your email system and how you capture people that come to your website system, and they capture email people that come to that platform. Email people go, oh my gosh, but I get so many a day. Well, I want you to think for a minute about things that you get emails about that you get excited about. Like, for instance, my favorite skincare products, Lush. Well, I say skincare. I like their bath bombs a lot. They only have one sale a year, Sandy. And when they have a sale, if they don't send me an email about it, I'm going to be mad because I want to go to that sale. I homeschool my kids. I love some of the homeschool curriculums that I use. Well, every week I get information about sales for the curriculum. I need that. And if you do a different sale between that Tuesday and this Tuesday, I want to know about it. So emails are only annoying when they're not of value to you. And I think your website is a great place to have people understand if you're a good fit for what they're looking for. And then at the end of the day, to be honest, if you're always giving value and it's the right target audience that you're connected with, it doesn't matter how many times you email. They'll be fine with it.
I have emails that I get daily from people, and it is such wonderful information. Even if I don't have time, I save it for later, when I'm at night when I'm watching TV or something, so I can just kind of catch up with those few people because of the value they give me.
So we know authors need a website.
Yes.
I mean, that's just a given. I hate to break it to you. That is something I really believe you need to invest in and have happen for you. But I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions as you start to think about how you're going to use this website. And all of these are important because it helps you figure out the right website design you need, the right type of website, how, what do you need to include in it? So the first question I want you to ask yourself is what is my goal? What is the goal of my website? I mean, Sandy and I always like to start with the strategy, but really, what's your goal personally? Like, do you just want a website to be like a brochure site, like a, hey, this is what Stephanie's all about. Yay, go Stephanie. Look at her new book, right? Or do you want it to be a place where you can have some conversation that would definitely change what the website could look like? Do you want it to be a place for you to hold some content? What is your purpose? And if you don't know what that goal is, I mean, of course, strategists like the two of us can help you think through that. But definitely start with the goal. And then I want you to ask yourself, what goals do your readers, your potential readers, have when they're visiting your site? So the first one is like, personally, what's my goal? And then it goes to the target audience, my potential reader, my current readers. What are their goals? So are they going to be coming to the website looking for more information on your book? Because if so, then, we need a book part, you need that stuff. Are they going to be wanting to know how they can engage and work with you? Have you even thought about that? That's important to think about, because I can guarantee you, especially in the nonfiction space, there are going to be people who get so excited about what you are doing and they want to know how to work with you. I'm a prime example of that, Sandy. When my first book came out, I had someone message me, and I hadn't even thought about it, because growing a business around my book's message was not something that was in my purview. And she said, do you ever do any life coaching? And I laughed, because I'm like, me? Be a life coach? I don't even have my own life together. How can I get someone else's, And I realized we all have messy middles of our lives, and we're all a hot mess. But when she said, when you become a life coach, call me. She's like, I want to be one of your first people. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I should have thought, when I look at what my first book's topic was, yeah, it would make sense that people would want a way to figure out how to take the information off the pages and into their life, but I just didn't think about it. So you want to think about that. Are they looking for any extra information? Are they going to come because they want to know how to take your book and invite it into their leadership teams? Are they looking for information on how to book you? Do you need to have contact info? All of these things make a difference.
Yes, they do. And I think it's important to think about it from the beginning. It is not impossible, and it's not incredibly difficult to add to it, but it is helpful to know it from the beginning. Why you wrote the book, and
right.
What do you hope to achieve from the book? And then, what do you want? How do you want to help people?
Hey, Stephanie here, and I wanted to pop into the conversation to offer you a life vest if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by not having a website or questioning how strong your current one is or should be. Listen, don't fret about the past. Sandy and I want to help you move forward, and we've pulled together a tool to help you. Our Ready to Build Your Website Preparedness Kit. Yes, it's as formal as it sounds. No, not really. It's a wonderful tool to help you ensure that you have everything prepped and ready as you wave your white flag of surrender and ask for some website help. This tool will save you and your website developer time in the process. Visit empowerprgroup.com/website to download it today. And let's schedule time to chat and see if Sandy and I can help you with your website needs. Alrighty, back to the conversation. Yeah, I think about some of the authors who I've worked with, and they didn't always know where they wanted to go in the grand scheme of things, but because we knew there was potential for growth, how we designed their website gave flexibility for that. So when it was time to add in a new page here or there, it didn't require a website overload. It required a few tweaks and life was good. So definitely, I think that's really good. I also realize brochure sites are nice, but I think Amazon is doing that for authors. That's for many, if you just want a site for your book, Amazon's doing that. In theory, you could get a domain name for your book and redirect it to your Amazon page, and that might suffice. But I think if you are an author, your website should be looking for your website to do a little bit more. Like, it should speak authentically and used authentically to market your book or your business or your blog, your videos, your podcasts, any speaking engagements. Like, it can do that for you. It can be a tool to help you as you plan to grow your business, like we just talked about. And it can allow you to also build a real authentic relationship with people. And I was just talking to someone the other day about how the word marketing and just marketing in general is, many people think of as icky. And it doesn't have to be icky. It can really work for you if it's done right and authentically and leading with value. And I feel like websites have the power to do that.
Yes. And so I'm going to say brochure sites, even though you can get a presence on a lot of places, and Amazon is one of them. It does not have your personality, your character, your passion for what you've written about. So having even just the brochure site, it just goes a long way to show people who you are and why you chose to write that book, what it means to you, and how you hope it helps your readers.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're deciding and leading the content, the design direction, and all of that goes into people's opinion immediately, right? From different patterns in photos and colors and layouts that creates a vibe, and that vibe they can pick up nonverbals through websites without you talking. So I'm going to encourage anyone, an author listening right now, to stop writing everything on social media. I think if we walk away from the outage, the Facebook black hole abyss of Facebook and Instagram in 2021, walk away from it realizing don't put everything that you do on social only. Your website has a place for that too. And if you put it there, it won't go missing. So here's a couple things to think about and a couple of flows that you can consider. I like to always start with writing stuff on my website, whether it's through a blog or a vlog or something. Getting that content, landing page even, getting on the website, and then share it on social media and link it back to your website. So you can still utilize social to spread the word, but that website becomes that hub for you. And when you're sharing it on social from your website, you're pulling people back to that site to learn more about your books and how to work with you. And that continues to grow your website and your credibility. It becomes almost like this cyclical effect.
Yes. And I think, there's a lot of misconceptions that blog posts need to be thousands of words and in depth. And in reality, a 1-paragraph blog post is an option. It does not have to be extensive. And you're building your authority there as opposed to on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or wherever you're posting first. Building it on your website first just creates an authority brand around you on your own website.
It does. And I don't know about you, Sandy, but as my business continues to grow and yours too, and the more books that I write, I find that it's really easy to lose things, right? Oh my gosh, I wrote about this. Where did I put that? Or whatever. And there comes a point where there are people that I want them to know something that I wrote because it would help them. And if it's anywhere else but my website, I'm going to they're going to go through all my LinkedIn posts. I can say, hey, this is the link to the blog on the website. Check it out. Or here you can look at this categories on the blog section of the website for some information. Just makes your life easy. And I'm recently reading a book, Atomic Habits. You've read that, correct? You may be somebody who told me about Atomic Habit. Atomic Habit?
I have not read it yet, but I know of it.
You must.
I know.
You must. So he talks about, it's a great book, but he talks about as humans, we do the laziest thing possible. We will always be lazy. Okay, it's just true. It's just, and neurologically, it's true. So if there is a way to make something you want to do well easy for you, you should, because your inclination is to be lazy about it. Now that's not lazy has, negative connotation. It doesn't have to. But if you're always posting it to your website, then you don't have to overthink. So don't try to work harder, work smarter. Put it in those places. I've got a list here. We've talked about a couple of them on some ideas that nonfiction authors can use to kind of keep their websites dynamic. And we've been talking about blogging. And you mentioned, it could be a paragraph. Listen, y'all wrote a book or you're writing a book. A blog is not a book. Now, blogs can help shape your book. I've done that before, but it doesn't have to be a book. It's just fresh content to keep relationships going with your people. A couple of ideas that you can do to help with your blog, and keep in mind, you can pull from your book for your blog. So pull some areas of your book and build upon it, make it relevant. You can share other people's articles that you believe have relevance on your blog. You can even share when you are writing or been mentioned in other people's articles or podcasts on your blog. And then think of other things that people in your target reader, target audiences might find interesting and they care about. For instance, cookbook authors might want to share new recipes. You might have a unique experience that you just had that has relevance. Share it. I'm an avid reader, and right now, anytime I read a book that has relevance to the authors, I'm going to write about it on my blog because I'm going to be, yes, it's promoting the book I'm reading, but now I'm bringing it home to the people who need it. If you're writing another book, write about it. Tell them about it. They want to know. People find the behind the scenes experience really interesting. And if you leverage categories in the blog section, that can help, make sure that everything's connected to the strategy. Sandy, do you have any other blog tips for people?
I have a client recently who she is, she works in a business field, but she took a trip into the Grand Canyon and rafted and camped for days and documented it in photography. And she wrote a blog post about it. And, there was question about whether it was relevant. And it's, it did not pertain directly to her business, but it was absolutely relevant about who she was stepping outside of her comfort zone. So there are experiences that you may think don't really relate to your book or your business or in any way your brand, but write them anyway. Because it still speaks to who you are as a person.
Yes. And I was reminded recently, people don't buy just products. They buy products from people. So yes, they might buy a book from you, but if you are somebody that they fall in love with, then they're going to buy the book anyway. I know I talk a lot about my favorite authors. At the moment Jodi Picoult wrote me back in an email, we are BFFs for life, even though she's yet to meet me. I'm putting it in the universe, Sandy. We will meet one day. Me and my friend Jodi. And we're on a first name basis. But, because she became real, like she became a real human to me when I emailed her because I was so excited about her book and how it made me think. It became different. She's not just an author. She's like a human. And now I just love her, and I love her. I always loved her, but I loved her personality. And so I think when we share, there's another author, Regina Brett, that I love, and she shares some really intimate things in her life that happen, when she's lost a family member or just dealing with some heavy stuff. And I always respect that about her because it brings back the fact that we are all connected as humans. We all put on our pants the same way. I always say that. We all get up and go to bed. We all have the similar worries. We're all very, similar. And yet sharing these unique things that you're doing or parts and tidbits of your life just connects people to you. And people buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah, and I've said it a lot. There are things in life no one escapes. Losing family members, there are things that none of us escape, and yet it's really not open and talked about. But it's what makes us human and connectable.
It does. It does. And I think for the authors out there, some people that I've talked to, they get very uncomfortable when it comes down to talking about themselves. They're like, I wrote a book. I didn't want to speak. Don't look at me, people, right? Don't put my face on the website. Are you kidding? You're crazy. Yeah, listen, you are a human, just like your readers. None of us are better or worse than the other. We're the same. We all have things that are scary and things that are amazing. And I really believe the more you can focus on the human element, the more people are likely to buy your books, and do it because it comes from an authentic place of, I just want to, I don't know, out of all the ways, Sandy, people can choose to share something, when you're choosing to share it in a book, it's because you know that you want to leave a legacy or make an impact, make a difference in the life of somebody. And that difference runs deeper when they know you a bit. You're a bit more vulnerable. That's also why I really like, I'm a big obviously I'm a big podcast fan. I love this platform because I think, and I know I've heard from people when you hear me, when you see me, I'm not just a person behind some words. I'm a human, and it digs in a little bit more in a good way. But like podcasts or guest podcasts you're on, or guest blogs that you're on, or if you do a TV interview, these are all great things to also add to your website. And I think that not only does it increase opportunities for conversation and engagement, but I think it up-levels you a bit for your visibility and credibility. Wouldn't you say?
You talked about marketing and how scary it can be and I read an article recently where we confuse marketing, advertising, and sales. They are three separate things, and yet we think of marketing as sales. Well, sales is scary for some of us.
I don't like sales, Sandy.
I don't either. Advertising is different than sales and marketing. So marketing, the more you can bring to light your voice, your mission, the thing that you are creating that authority brand around.
Yep.
You are marketing.
Yeah. How do people... So you wrote about something because you love it, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, right? You're an expert in it, or you are passionate about it. How in the world are people going to know about it if you don't market? If you don't talk about it, how are they going to know? They're just going to, I'm just in the mood for this topic, and I'm going to go digging in the zillions of books on Amazon. Listen, very few of us have that. You have to instead actively talk about it. You have to tell people about it. Yeah, that's a really good point, Sandy.
Yeah, and if you're reading someone else's book, share that as well. I mean,
yes.
Share that you are reading someone's book and how it complements what you've written.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that a lot. And I also jotted down here too that another way, in addition to writing content, and whether it's writing or doing a podcast like this, either way, it's just sharing content. And some people, you might get tired of writing. Like, it would take me so much longer to write what you and I are doing on this episode than it is for us to talk about it. And so just know that your website is to be keeping it dynamic. It's sharing content, and you need to find that platform. Maybe it's LinkedIn Lives or Facebook Lives or YouTube content, right? Like, you can do some different ways of sharing content. Don't be limited. But another thing I wrote down is you've got to have on your website some way for people to opt in to your community. We talked about emails a moment ago, but your website is a way to do that. I've gone to a couple websites and I'm like, oh, these people are really cool. I'd love to follow them. And then I look around and I'm like, well, they don't even have a way for me to communicate. Like, I would want to be a part of this community, and I can't find a way to be a part of their community. I want to know about new things they're doing. Don't leave your potential readers and your website visitors wanting that. Like, have a solution.
And I think that's a really good way to look at it. It's you are building your community. It is the best way to look at it. Yes, you're sharing your stuff, you're marketing to people, but you're also just creating a group who want to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
And an opt-in
is icky when they want to.
It's not. And I think everybody needs an opt-in.
I think it's a no-brainer. When you and I do website audits for people, I know the first thing I'm looking for is what's their opt-in, and is it compelling? You can have a join my email list, and I'm like, yay. And for some people that might be great, but for most people aren't going to give over their email real estate just because you said that you would like for them to do that. So you want to be methodical and give something of value for them in return. And then the last thing I put down some ideas is for nonfiction authors. Most nonfiction authors are writing about something that has like business implications or personal development implications, and they want to speak about it. That's an option. If you're going to write about it, most people want to speak about it too. So I think a no-brainer for an author website is a speaker page. And if you haven't ever seen one, go to stephaniefeger.com and check out my speaker page. As an example, because I did tons of research with Sandy and Sandy made it beautiful. And we came together and said, we know this is needed. How do we do it? And a speaker page is really a resource for podcast hosts, for meeting planners, and for anyone else who might hire you or ask you to come speak, to come and have a hub to get all that they need. That really up levels you. It really makes people go, she's serious about this. And I love it because the website is a one-stop shop. Sandy, do you know how many emails I don't have to send because we have a speaker page? Like, I don't have to send me those emails. It's all there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just go to this page.
Yeah, just go there. And we have several authors who have it, and they feel all proud of themselves because they go, oh my gosh, I didn't have to tell the podcast host, oh, well, let me give you my bio. I just said, go to my speaker page. Here's a link. It's great. If you're looking for how do people know your website's dynamic? Well, when you're sharing stuff on your social media channels, it's going to drive them back to your website. So sharing it is part of that dynamic element. When you share it on email, that's another way too. So in your email signatures, you should always have a link to your website, and add in another call to action. On my website email signature, I have a link to the website. I usually talk about if I can help you, click here to chat, and that links to my email or my calendar scheduler. And then I talk about the upcoming workshop and the podcast topic and my books. And it's not overkill, because I don't like overkill. It seems very clean and crisp, and it's helped people learn more about what I do. So that also lets them know, hey, go to the website. But you can also share it when you're on stage, when you're out there talking about your book and your message. Talk about your website. And a big way to do that is through an opt-in. So leverage the stage to share your opt-in, to direct them to your website, which talks all about how they can hire you or purchase a book from you. It makes logical sense to me, Sandy. I know it makes logical sense to you, but I know to others out there who may go, I don't know where to begin. That is okay. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know the next step. I tell people all the time, you do not have to have every answer. You just have to know where to go to find the answer. And the Empower PR group for nonfiction authors can be a solution for that. Sandy and I know this inside and out. We'd be so happy to help you. We'd be so happy. Any other ways you think, Sandy, that would make sense for people to be able to leverage a dynamic website or to ensure people know that that's something they want to keep coming to?
Well, I think having content that changes, not necessarily the main content, but, obviously keeping it fresh, up to date, current. Google likes it. Search engines like it. And your people like it. If they are paying attention to you, they will go to read a new post or watch a new video. If there are things that you can give people in video, in short clips, and you have a YouTube channel, that you have these clips on, you can use a page in your website for resources, tips. There's a lot of ways to add video without making it slow and heavy, which is a huge pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. So a couple things just happened recently, I think have relevance to share here. One, I was at church recently and they were talking about the importance of intersections. Have I told you about this, Sadie? It's such a brilliant concept. About the power of intersections. So all of us are moving in our lives 100 miles per hour. I hope not when you're literally driving, just mentally going 100 miles per hour. And there's so many messages that are being inundated to us on the regular. Okay. So you might see a lot of messages, but not see them. Like they might be there, but you're not picking up on it until you need it. And then you see them everywhere. I remember my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer. My mom's like, why do I see cancer commercials and hear about cancer all the time? I'm like, Mom, it was always there. But until Grandma was diagnosed, you didn't pick up on it. And there's other intersections in life where people become more open to things. So for instance, you wrote a book that is about, I'm thinking of one of my clients who wrote a book that is about breaking up with your company. So when is it time to leave and go do something else? Well, if you love your job, you wouldn't even hear that. It could just be like background noise if someone's talking about it. But what happens about the day that you don't love your job anymore? Well, that's why we need to keep talking about things, and we don't need to stop, because you never know when the right intersection happens. There was a great conversation this week with somebody who made a comment, and I needed to hear this. She goes, I've been watching your LinkedIn posts, which are connected to my blogs. She's like, I've been watching for years, and I'm really excited about figuring out a way where we can collaborate. I mean, so a lot of this stuff is not a short-term game. It's a long-term game. And if you keep it up, people are watching and listening, and you're just waiting for that right intersection where you and your book become a solution to something that they're looking for. And it will happen as long as you're consistent and you have a place to direct them. It was really wonderful that I can direct people, and, the authors we work with can, to a place that they can learn more when they're ready to learn more. And as long as you're talking about it, then they're going to be interested at some point, and they can go there and get that information.
Yeah, I think you hit it it is a long-term thing. It's not, nothing is going to drive traffic quickly. So you have to be consistent and initially, and a lot of times if you're consistent initially, more frequently, as you build your audience, you can slow down. You can get into a much more manageable, routine with your content.
Right. I had an author ask me, how did you get, if I Google Stephanie Feger, your name pops up like in a box on the corner, like you're somebody cool. And how'd you do that? I said, I didn't do anything, except it's because of all the content that I've been putting out, all of the visibility work I've done over the years, the books I've written, all of that stuff. So it now goes, people search Stephanie, and we're going to make it easy so they can just click here and go. So if you haven't Googled yourself, I always think you should do it like once a year, once every 6 months, just to see what's out there and see what things are popping up. For me, the Empower PR Group website is one of the first things on the list. Well, that's interesting because I have my author website too, and that's down there as well. So it lets you kind of know, all right, well, which one am I talking more about? And what am I saying? And what is kind of triggering stuff? And I give you some ideas as well. So Sandy, I think your website, and you know this too, I think your website should really be your hub for your author brand and for your business. And I'll be honest, any authors out there who are going, I don't have a business. You do. The moment you wrote and published a book, you became an authorpreneur. So just own that and move on. But I think it's like your address to your home and your, to your home and your life and your hub. It is like the place you should go where you start, right? So you have the house, but people can't get to your house without the address. And that website kind of helps be the conduit to that. It's a place where you can express yourself. You can be you. You can be in control of your message, and people can find you and understand who you are very authentically. When you think of your website as an afterthought, you're not fully leveraging all that your website can do for you. You and I both know there's strategy to this, and when you leverage the strategy, you're positioning your website to work for you. And I don't know about you, Sandy, but I need things to work for me.
As easily
this woman
as
over here with
possible.
3 kids, I need things to work for me.
Absolutely.
3 kids, 20 cats, between the two of us, we have 20 cats, I'm sure.
I don't got it. As I do a quick head count, I'm like, I don't know how many are here.
I have 6 right now. How many you got?
I have 6.
Okay, well, we're at 12.
3, 4, 5. I think I only have 5 now. I lost one a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's right. Well, that just is giving you space for a new one to find you.
Yeah,
Cats find cat ladies. They just find us. They just find us. But I mean, the truth is, you go to the Empower PR Group website and you're going to see cats in the video. So, I mean, there are things authentically allow you to be you, and that's good because people buy from people. People get excited about people. We are called to be connected with people.
Yes.
Be a person and share it.
One of my goals, and I know it's an Empower goal, is that you are excited about that presence that's being built for you, that website, that place for you to just share everything you want to share.
Yeah. And gosh, when your website is something you're excited about, like you almost can't not share it. Like I get really excited to tell people about my sites because I know when they go there, I know what they're going to experience, Sandy, and I'm proud of it.
Right.
Because you do beautiful work.
Because we've thought through it. We've thought through what we want them to experience.
We have done it in a very methodical way, and it works for us. Sandy, thanks for being on today's episode. We've got 2 more left in this season. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm always excited talking websites.
I know. And talking with you. It's just
There's so much. I know.
And, I'm just glad that you're helping to pull back the curtain and collaboratively with me, we're helping people realize websites don't have to be so scary, and we're answering those burning questions. We'll continue doing that in the future episodes. So thanks. I look forward to the other ones.
Thank you. Me too.
Have you been thinking that a website is something you need, or that you'd love for someone to take a peek at yours and see how you could improve upon it? Well, one of the first things that we work on with authors at the Empower PR Group is building upon their digital presence. Author friend, hear me when I say that you need this. Whether or not you would like myself or our team to help you, we want you to feel prepared when you go to bring your website to life. So we've created a tool for you. Consider it your website prep kit. The Ready to Build Your Website Preparedness Kit will provide you with insights on everything you need to make your website development experience easy peasy and run smoothly. And if our team can help with that experience, we'd love to. Visit empowerprgroup.com/website or see the link in the show notes to download that tool and learn more about how we can help you with your author branding digital presence. Remember, empowered people empower people. I've empowered you. Now, with your website in place, it is your turn to empower others.